This ring on my finger, it shows you, shows me, shows my wife that I am married to her. I wear this ring as a reminder of the covenant, the promises that I've made to my wife Elizabeth, promises to love her, to care for her, to protect her until death would separate us. And in the same way, as we start off again in chapter 4 of James this week, we see that God's people are to show with their lives and the choices that they make that they belong to God. Listen to the sting in what James says in verse 4 of chapter 4. You adulterous people, do you not know that friendship with the world is enmity with God? Therefore, whoever wishes to be a friend of the world makes himself an enemy with God. Or do you suppose that it is to no purpose that the scripture says, he yearns jealously over the spirit that he has made to dwell in us? James is drawing on an illustration which you see right through the Bible of God taking a people to be himself and treating them like a husband would treat a bride. He calls the church, he calls his community of his people his bride. And he acts in a way like a husband towards them, given to his bride, sacrificing for his bride, protecting his bride, entering into an eternal covenant, an eternal promise with his bride. And he says in this passage that he is jealous for his bride. He's put his spirit within each of his followers. And his spirit is jealous that we give ourselves to God. And the church here are clearly doing the opposite. They are giving themselves to the world. They are making friendships, deep, intimate friendships within the world and neglecting their God. And it's as if they committed adultery on God, leaving God and going after another husband for protection, for provision, for care, for love. And God is saying, no, you're mine, you belong to me. And just as we've seen in chapters 1, 2, and 3 already, James is pushing the church. He's provoking the church to think hard. How is it in your lives, in the decisions that you make, that you are showing yourself to belong to God? How are you showing the genuineness of your faith, the fact that you belong to God, in the way that you make decisions, in the things that you love, in the things that you cherish, in the things that you have given your life to? So I would encourage us as we start off this week to think, how do we show in our lives? How do we show this deep bond of intimacy that God has brought us into? Do we show in our lives, in the way that we speak, in the way that we give, in the way that we care for those around us, in the decisions that we make? Do we show in our lives that we are God's, that we belong to him and he belongs to us?